I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. Well, THIF, thank heaven it's Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I know you are too, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Well, a bit of news. You know that our president has gone to Egypt and to Saudi Arabia, and he has made conciliatory statements and nice speeches to the Arab world. Al-Qaeda has a little different take on it, however. They have been threatening a bio attack on the United States using underground tunnels across our Mexican border, our border with Mexico. U.S. counterterrorism officials have authenticated a video by an Al-Qaeda recruiter threatening to smuggle a biological weapon into the United States via the tunnels under the Mexico border. The latest sign of the terrorist group's determination to stage another mass casualty attack on the U.S. homeland. The video aired earlier this year as a recruitment tool that makes clear that Al-Qaeda is looking to exploit the weaknesses in U.S. border security and also is willing to ally itself with white militia groups and other anti-government entities interested in carrying out attacks inside the United States. Well, in my opinion, there are no white groups interested in such a thing. It's a red herring. It's a bogus plot to get our attention off of the real enemy. Again, bin Laden tells America to get ready for revenge attacks. Osama bin Laden threatened America in a new audio tape Wednesday, saying that President Barack Obama inflamed hatred toward the U.S. by ordering Pakistan to crack down on militants in the Swat Valley. There's no pleasing those folks. Do you understand that? No pleasing them at all. Here's headline news out of Israel. Obama, they say, does not recognize Israel land claims or security needs. In his much anticipated address to the Muslim world in Cairo on Thursday, the U.S. President Barack Obama said he does not recognize the legitimacy of any Israeli presence on the biblical lands of Judea and Samaria, and scolded the Jewish state for security measures he said are unnecessary and counterproductive. In a speech in which he repeatedly referred to the Holy Quran. Isn't that amazing? I don't recall him ever talking about the Holy Bible. The Holy Quran. Never heard of it like that before. And the many lessons of peace it holds for us. That is, the Holy Quran has many lessons of peace it holds for us. I wonder if he's read it. Well, Obama appeared to paint Israel's reluctance to surrender land for the establishment of a Palestinian Arab state as the sole remaining obstacle to ending the Israeli-Arab conflict. The audience at the Cairo University was silent. They sat on their hands when Obama began by recalling the Jews' painful history, deriding anyone who would deny that history, and reaffirming the Jewish people's righteous quest for a homeland. But they erupted in applause as he continued by equating that history and that quest to the suffering of the Palestinian Arabs and their own efforts to forge an independent state. In other words, he talked about the Holocaust and then turned it around as if the Palestinians were the ones now suffering a Holocaust. His listeners were left to believe that Obama views the Palestinian plight in the same light as the Nazi Holocaust and sees little difference between the Nazi death camps and the Palestinian refugee camps. That the Palestinian situation has been brought on largely by their own violence, while the Jews did nothing to provoke the Nazis but be Jews, was conveniently overlooked. Obama insisted that for peace to reign over the region, Israel must halt all settlement activity in the areas it has greatest historical claim to. He said America and the rest of the world will never recognize the legitimacy of those settlements. The president scoffed at Israeli security measures imposed on those areas that have been surrendered to the Palestinians, saying that they were only producing the opposite results. He was adamant that imposing a blockade on Gaza and manning checkpoints in Judea and Samaria cannot bring security to the Israelis. He failed to address the rampant Palestinian terrorism that plagued Israeli cities before those measures were put into place. Obama did take issue with the Palestinian violence in general, but attempted to downplay it by saying very few participated in it or support those groups that do. His remarks ignored years of public opinion polls showing that the vast majority of Palestinians support violence against Israel, and the most recent Palestinian legislative election in which the Hamas won a landslide victory. A recent survey revealed Hamas will score an even bigger victory when the Palestinians again go to the polls later this year. Israelis were anxious prior to the speech, fearful that Obama was going to sacrifice Israel to bring reconciliation between America and the Muslim world. One more little item, Jerusalem's Yesha Council, that's the folks who watch over the building in shall we say, the West Bank area, say that the Obama administration is using political terror against Israel. Settler leaders launched a harsh tirade against the Obama administration on Monday following the increased U.S. pressures. That was Monday of this week. Following the increased U.S. pressure on Israel over the dismantling of outposts and freezing of construction in the settlements. The Americans are employing political terrorism against the state of Israel. Yeshua Council Chairman Danny Dayan said, quote, "Not only is the Obama administration renouncing the commitments made by President George Bush in April of 2004, it's looking as if they regret President Truman's decision on May 14, 1948 to recognize Israel's independence." The Council's Director General, Pinchas Wallerstein, said that Obama views the Israeli leadership as a banana republic. He doesn't understand that this is a democracy too, he said. The Yesha chairman said that the recent rhetoric used by Obama and the U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, quote, implies that the current administration doesn't see Israel as a sovereign nation. Dayan added that the current period, as Obama and Prime Minister Netanyahu determined the rules of the game, was critical. Dayan said that Israel must draw the line by refusing to agree to a complete freeze on the settlements. He said, quote, if not, this will snowball, and then we won't be able to stop it, or stop Obama on the division of Jerusalem either. He said those who won't stop the American attempt to dictate Israel's housing policies in Samaria, Judea, and Jerusalem will also see them determine the borders of this country. They will say who will be the prime minister, what the coalition will look like, and most importantly, what the fate of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount will be. Well, we live in apocalyptic days. I've told you that before. I'm convinced, however, that things will go according to the will of God. God knows what's going on there. And the Lord will only allow what He wants. We have already learned that Ezekiel saw a divided Temple Mount, with a wall built to make a separation between the profane place, the Muslim buildings, and the Jewish sanctuary. So, these folks, Netanyahu says Jerusalem will never be divided, and the leaders of the Yesha movement are complaining about the fate of the Temple Mount. I can tell you what the fate will be. God says it will be divided. The Antichrist will divide the city of Jerusalem. But in the end, Israel will win. The Messiah will come, put down the armies of the children of Ishmael, and elevate Israel to the head of the nations. You see, the capital city of this world for the next 1,000 years is going to be Jerusalem. I'm J.R. Church. We'll see you again on Monday with our analysis of the news.